Our vision is to be the most successful gaming regulatory body in Africa while maintaining global international gaming standards.
Tickets, foot traffic and more tickets. Nigeria's gaming industry, largely based in Lagos, continues to record what experts refer to as exponential growth due to a largely youthful population with improved smartphone penetration. Established in 2005 following the enactment of the Lagos State Lotteries Law a year earlier, the Lagos State Lotteries Board controls all gaming activities within the city. They serve as a go-between for the state government, gaming operators and consumers.
Some of our specific objectives, we protect stakers, operators within the industry. We also promote the sector, generally speaking. So from a market awareness standpoint, and finally, obviously, our primary objective, we regulate the sector.
So that includes lotteries, sports betting, casinos, gaming machine, pools, betting, scratch card and interactive games, and all related gaming activities within Lagos State. We conducted due diligence on the operator. We look through the submitted proposals because they are required to submit certain pre-license application requirements. So we look through it all to determine the suitability of the prospective operator to get a license in Lagos State. And the legal department does that in conjunction with the IT department and the finance department.
So we have requirements for the gamers that come to play, the different operators, their standards they need to meet. From a technical standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from an operational standpoint.
And at the end, we also meet with the applicants to just put a face to the company and ask questions, clarify gray areas on the application, and then decide whether or not to give a temporary approval to operate in Lagos State.
While the significant love of sport makes the sports betting arm the fastest growing of Nigeria's gaming industry, the lotteries and casinos are also widely popular.
The economy of Lagos right now is being driven by people within the age bracket of 20 upwards to 50. And so you have a lot of young people within that cadre. So you've got to be able to speak their language. And what's that mobile trend? One of the few things we try to do is create that interaction. So if you see, we have a revamped website, which is not just a wall, but an interactive platform. So you have a I would say an 8 to 5 situation where people can get there, ask information, chat with all our key resources within the environment, to address questions, address issues around how to, get a license or where they are aggrieved by any of the operators to address the issues that are being faced by them.
The technology is changing so fast. The issues people are dealing with are real time. So we try to make sure we have an open door policy. They can reach us, phone calls, emails, whatever the case may be.
So we have our Twitter handle. We've got LSLBNG. We've got Instagram handle. We've got our Facebook. So on a daily basis, we have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays of the week where we try to send out broadcasts. We interact with not only the stakers, but we're also interacting with the investors and the operators, letting them know what opportunities are available within the Lagos State environment.
This industry thrives on numbers. Nigeria is about 170, 180 million people, so clearly that's a sizable number. There's also this likeness for football and sports generally in Nigeria. So these two attributes combined together makes the sector very, very good.
The operators say push for market expansion, fair and transparent processes will position the sector for attraction to more investors. The Lagos State Lotteries Board agrees it would like to generate more revenue to run the state as smoothly as possible. And for this to happen, the board has to be transparent in the performance of its regulatory duties, which include maintaining fair play, collecting funds from the operators, and giving back to the public.
The regulation is important in the gaming industry. And an industry like ours, which is shall I call it an 18+ industry, not for kids, right? It should be regulated, rightly so. It should be heavily regulated, because if it's not well regulated, charlatans are going to come into the industry, fraudsters are going to come into the industry, people are going to bring money into the industry, they're not going to get paid. Who are you going to complain to?
The regulator has a face, and they listen. And I think that's the most important thing. Once your regulator is willing to listen, and they understand, and they take time to understand the industry and the environments that they regulate, then it gives room for progress.
Some people come into the business with the aim of just making something and then go away. They will come, and even if people win, they don't even bother. They come in and give any percentage they like to agents, because they know they are not coming to stay.
What has happened is the regulatory authorities have progressed. They've got to understand more of what's going on in the industry. Lagos State is a very progressive state, and I think the governor is very focused on developing hospitality industry and tourism. And we're a player in that industry, and things have become more streamlined. So there is, I believe, the Lotteries Board and the gaming regulators are falling together under one umbrella. And for the first time in many years, we're starting to have stakeholder meetings, and we're able to understand what the requirements are from the regulator, and the regulator is starting to educate the other operators in terms of the regulations and what you need to have in order to compete in this industry.
Lagos here, as my Oga will say, we have not even tapped 1/3 of the market in Lagos State.
What we ensure that we do is to be able to account for revenue generated from the public and channel it towards the clear-cut objectives as enshrined within the statutory functions. So we collect, we account, and we report.
So I know that Lagos State, for example, paid billions over the years to Lagos State government, and which they've actually shown us what they've done with the money.
We do have what we call good causes projects, and all the funds we get from our revenue, the revenue we make, that's from a licensing standpoint, from a gaming tax standpoint, are dedicated to good causes projects across the state. Some of them are very obvious, some of them are not as obvious.
What we received, there's need for us to return back to the public, to the society, and that is why we contribute to the infrastructures in Lagos State. We contribute to the security, which is the most important thing. We contribute to the community security, which is another important thing that we have to look at. Education of our junior, the primary, the secondary, the tertiary. These are some of those societal development that Lagos State Lotteries Board have really contributed in the society.
While the operators welcome regulations by the Lagos State Lotteries Board, they demand for a nationwide harmonization of regulatory processes.
In my own microsector, which is sports betting, the federal regulator is not actually empowered to regulate it. So to speak, at least for now, though they are trying to change the act and things like that. But the Lagos State Lotteries Board have been quite good in what they're doing. They've acquired a lot of expertise over the years. So I think they've done quite well.
The Lagos State Lotteries Board aims to attain global standards and agrees that streamlined regulations will help to avoid confusion and address multiple licensing.
Lagos is well populated, and whatever business you do in Lagos goes on. And that is why many of the the companies are based in Lagos.
Anybody that has any grievances in Lagos State will need to call them or write to them. They send us a letter. informing of what the complaints are. We need to reply within 24 hours. If need be, they call a meeting between ourselves and the punters. We resolve the issues.
When we get such information, we investigate the allegation as it is made to us. And when such allegation is established, the board will write and sanction the operator accordingly.
The lottery board has stood in the middle to try to find a common ground and a resolution. And they've also been very hard against the operator when the operator is liable. And they've also been very hard against the participating public when they are wrong, and they define very clearly to them the reasons why they are wrong. So when those situations occur, they are there as the arbitrator, and they make sure things are resolved amicably between both parties. We've never had an issue of having to go to court or go to the police. They do their very best to resolve most issues that come up.
If all hands can come together, it's going to be a real big industry, to be an alternative to the oil sector.
Gaming plays a significant role in contributing to the economy, contributing to different activities, Olympics, funding schools and things of that nature. So for us, that's really where we want to be. We want to get to a point where we can say, look, in Lagos State, this is what we've contributed to the GDP of this economy.
Lagos State especially has been quite proactive. They've got good laws in place, they listen, so the regulatory environment continues to morph. So, and change is good. So as long as we learn, we change, we adapt to the environment that we're in. So it is getting better. For example, we have the numbers. The numbers are there. Our population, we have about 21 million plus. And when you now think about the gaming subsector of that population, the numbers are very positive. Furthermore, you're talking about an economy that's the 5th largest in Africa, and our target is to be the 3rd largest in Africa as well. We believe Lagos is a prime destination for gaming investors going forward.